This is the Cody and James Show. The rest of the team's on a bio. Two-man squad still running the play. Talking ball while the others hit snooze today.
Welcome to the
first inaugural episode of the James and Cody Show.
There we go.
BS. Hey, what a game.
Absolutely.
Princeton. Not too bad weather. You know, we were on the south side, which is normally the home side, but they switched it up. They did an expansion, did a mirror expansion, so I thought that was really good. And as Joe Trahan said on Channel 8, very hospitable. Nice people. Had a lot of good people there working.
And, you know, if you were like me and you looked at it on Google Maps before going to the game, you're like, oh, man, how are we going to squeeze all the people and all the band into that one section?
You couldn't see all the expansion they've done.
They've expanded it. It was really nice. So if you didn't go because you were scared of the stadium, make it out there next year or the year after.
Yeah, don't sing crocodile tears.
Exactly.
We don't want to hear it.
So, yeah, as you can see, we're down a couple people. It's fall break. We got people traveling. We got people going to weddings. We got Nolan doing Nolan things. So it's just James and myself today, but
we are the stat men, so the stat men will have it. Maybe we'll keep some of the banter to a minimum. Who knows? But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to look at. So many good highlight plays, and we'll go through that in the play-by-play. But man, 62-14, Allen win over Prosper. What we were talking about the third quarter, and they didn't score their first touchdown until when was it? 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
In the third quarter.
Yep.
And so that was pretty good. We were on our at least second, maybe third string at that point.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. But great win regardless. And, really good stuff. What offensive players of the game? We were torn because there was so much offense. Special teams was really good. Mm-hmm. Big, huge part of the scoring. But we're gonna split it between JD and Ty.
Yeah.
Two QBs. Ty was at 80%, 81% completion, and JD was somewhere around 70.
Yep.
So both of them are really good.
Great performances for both of them, and much better than 2 weeks ago. They were a little sloppy 2 weeks ago.
We love improvement.
We love improvement. No picks.
There were a couple batted balls, but nothing got picked.
But largely on target. Couple drops by the wide receivers, so they could have been even better. But just really good performance end to end from those two, and just really calm and collected in the pocket because they had time and they went through their progressions and they did what you're supposed to do when you got that much time.
Exactly, and we'll talk about the offensive line here in a little bit when we talk to Coach. But so JD and Ty, we're going to split that offensive players of the game, and then defense. We're kind of in the same boat.
Yep.
I mean, 29, Josiah Gibson was fantastic, and number 1, JT Shaw was absolutely dominating.
Yes.
And I think both of those guys together, they made the whole defense kind of click.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was jumping in on there. Who else did I have in there? Oh, my gosh.
Well, you look, I'll just say that.
Dominic Butler.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Mm-hmm. He was knocking some heads off.
Yep.
Yeah. It was really good. Hambrick, runner.
It's one of those games where just about everybody deserves a magnet, but unfortunately we only have so many.
So we're going to split Josiah Gibson and JT Shaw for defensive players of the game. And then special teams. We wouldn't normally include Jet on special teams, but when you're scoring on special teams like the way he was, kickoff returns, punt returns, pass catches, converting them into 70-yard TDs. He was on fire.
Yeah, special teams with offensive honorable mention on that bad
boy.
So.
We'll give him honorable mention. So Caleb Jet Smith, congratulations. Josiah, JT, JD, Ty. We got a lot of abbreviations here.
Yeah, good stuff, everybody.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And we characterized it a little bit on the Princeton side. Marcus Flowers, former Allen player, ends up moving up there. Not sure any of the detail of that. We don't care. Mm-hmm. If that's where he needs to be, then, good for him.
Yep.
We'll also talk to Coach. I guess there were some connections there with Marcus, and then there was another player who had a boot on, who was not dressed out but was on the sidelines. Everybody went by and said hi to him. Mm-hmm. So, we assume that that's a former Allen player as well. And and we'll ask Coach a little bit about that too. But so good. And then, I mean, Princeton, for their side, they were under pressure all night.
They were under pressure all night.
Defense was so smothering, and they probably had, what, four to six really good big plays, and whether it was us breaking coverage or them executing really well, whatever you want to pin it on, that's basically all they kind of put up there.
Yep.
Run stopping, they were good at that. They actually plugged some holes, but how much of that is our offensive line being young and underclassmen. Hopefully we'll get that rectified by the Prosper game. And what else can you say about that? So.
Yeah, I think the Prosper game may be very similar to this one.
Yeah,
in that they've got to be under pressure to score the entire time. Like, I think they're going to struggle against our defense. I think our defense is going to be the best one. I mean, I think for all these teams, our defense is the best one they've seen so far, and probably will be the best one they see all year. And so, coming into this, if I'm Princeton, I'm like, okay, how do I win this game?
Exactly.
It's step one is we've got to keep that pocket clean for Marcus Flowers. He's got to be upright, and he's got to be comfortable back there. And from minute one, that didn't happen. Allen was bringing, I think, heavier blitzes than we've seen in a lot of our games. But we already get a lot of penetration, but then you add some blitzers in.
Exactly, and they were mixing it up. Bringing corner blitzes, and then sometimes they bring the house up the middle. And I know Kai Wheaton. Yeah, he was on fire too. Love to give Kai some credit there, because he was really disturbing some stuff. Had a blocked block punt. Yeah, that he had. Man, that was good. Had a couple other close ones where it almost got blocked, and I think they had position. But it's one of those things. Okay, do you go high and try and block where the guy is, and then it gets by you, your arms, or do you go low and hit the ball? Because he was there in plenty of time. Ended up hitting the kicker. Luckily for us, it was only running into the kicker, and they still had to kick it off, or kick it away. And but yeah, Kai Wheaton was on fire, and who else? Golly, it just. There's so many defensive players on that team. They just make each other better. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're getting pressure on the quarterback. They're really not able to score, and I don't think they have the defense to win a close game. So they're
with
only
Prosper. And I don't want to jump ahead too quick, but with Prosper, you think they're going to have a better offensive line. Yes. Definitely. Their passing game, they've got some receivers. Their passing game is going to really test our defense, I think. And that's the big question. I know Mark had that question. How's their defense?
I think their O-line will be better. I don't know if their quarterback wide receiver situation will be any better. Because I think this is already a pretty good quarterback wide receiver setup. Now they might be a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to be a night and day. The defense will
not enough to make that big a difference. It's not like we're going against Rockwall and Jingba, Jackson Smith and Jingba.
It's going to be tougher to get pressure because their offensive line will be better. But
something tells me the DC is going to be on fire for this one.
I think so, and just
I hope
for those of you who haven't looked at it. At least 3 of the 5 of their starters on O-line are back from last year, and we held that team to 7 last year.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, if you're quaking in your boots over Prosper, I would just, take a chill pill. I think we're going to be okay in that one.
Yeah, and we're going to see pretty much in the first quarter to first half, what is this going to end up being? Yeah. I mean, I think they're not going to be able to hang with us. And with Coach Hargis, if I have to trust a coach to dial up some defensive schemes, I trust Hargis. He's got that defense dialed in.
That's one of the pluses of blowing out every team we faced so far is we haven't had to show all of our cards.
Yes.
And so there's definitely – I think this was one of the first games where we saw a team playing against our tendencies a little bit. They were really prepared for some of that horizontal run stuff, the little quick pitch out of the backfield, the wide receiver in motion, sweep kind of a thing.
And I think I mentioned this at breakfast. It kind of reminded me slightly of what we ended up getting from Rowlett back in 2007. 5-5 team, but they had game planned against us, and they knew every single weakness that we had. and were able to exploit that. Now, Princeton doesn't have the running back that they had at the time, which, they really kind of pounded the rock and kept the ball away from us, which if you've got an offense like ours, you want to limit how much our offense gets the ball.
Yes.
But so from that side, Princeton did good. Well coached. I think, Coach Wigg had kind of mentioned that when he talked to Joe Trahan, but Channel 8 and Joe Trahan was out there getting highlights of our game. They had a little bit on that fifth quarter they do on WFAA Plus, so I don't know if they do reruns on that, and also don't know if the old coach does reruns, but a couple of our guys were watching the game. Yeah, it'll be up.
I mean, I think
so what else?
Big thing, it was interesting looking at Professor Diggs's dunk, because apparently some Princeton fans were feeling that they might be good in this game. And to be fair, like offensively, Princeton has some things that work, but this Allen defense is the real deal, like times 100.
Oh my God! Yeah.
You're not going to score a lot of points. It's still the starters all year have given up one touchdown, and it was off a turnover that landed the other team in the red zone.
And I think for the last 5 to 7 years, this is the earliest we've had, subs, or we've had the rotation going in heavy.
Absolutely.
Before the first half.
Yeah.
And the defense is a big reason why. When you can shut people down like that, you can start rotating in. I think some of the secondary, keep the defensive line, you keep the pressure on the quarterback.
Yep.
You're going to have some really good results.
Yeah, so there we were halfway through the third quarter, and we're already seeing backups and backups and backups on the field. But that's good. I think it's good to get that kind of experience because we've been really blessed from an injury perspective, and that very minimal injuries this season. But we're going to have some game experience on the people who have to step up in that situation.
No doubt. One I wanted to mention was Dominic Butler, DB, 10th grader.
Yeah.
He showed some amazing instincts. There was one, I think, 30-yard pass. The quarterback puts it right on line. He's backpedaling. He knows exactly when to commit his hips. He's with him stride for stride. He is reading his face and knows, it's almost like the eyes get big right before the ball comes. He timed it perfect, broke up that pass.
Is that the one on the near sideline?
Yes, it
for
was.
Us? That was the one where I was like, you got to turn your head. They did it. And it was beautiful.
It was
broke it up,
beautiful.
and it was just like, that's one of those things where on a different team, that's going to end up being some kind of pass interference because they're not going to get their head around, and they're going to be all over him. And
when he had the discipline not to get the hands on him, not to try and hold him down, he was stride for stride with him, head next to the other guy's head. It's for a 10th grader, that's the kind of skill you want to see. So, Coach Hargis, you've got a lot to work with, and we're happy for you.
It's a very talented team and a very well-coached team, I think is what we're saying right now, for sure.
If they're doing something that caused that, they're doing it right. But,
I would hope so. That's what they're getting paid to do.
Oh, my gosh. And so what did we do? We ended up having 425 total yards on offense. Princeton had 265. A lot of that came in the third, fourth quarter.
Yep, absolutely.
They got a couple big plays off. Don't get me wrong. They had a few big plays earlier in the game.
They didn't get points.
Blown coverage, well, exactly. And that's the test.
Kicker.
You can get all this offense you want, but if you don't punch it in, you're not going to win. Not going to do any good.
It's funny because this is not a bend but don't break defense. This is a defense that's going to try to stop you every time. 3 and out. But they also have that don't break aspect to them too, where they can give up a big play and then immediately reset and get the stop. Which is something special. You don't see that a lot in high school sports, which tend to be really kind of swingy emotionally.
Really. Yeah, and so looking at the plays that they ran, they had 48 yards running, and we had 123 rushing. 22 attempts on their part for rushing and 40 pass attempts. So when you're getting 62 plays, and a lot of those plays were for negative yardage. I mean, let's be honest. Whether it was run or pass, the defense was on them and stopping them.
Yes.
But 50% pass completion rating, and so the defense, I mean, that's really on them too.
Yeah.
Because he was pressured a lot. He was throwing it away a lot. Marcus Flowers,
A lot of that, not to be dismissive of it, but if you don't put your second and third string in the third and fourth, he's maybe sitting at 30-40% pass completion on the game. So very well done on their side.
Did we talk about the defense too much?
Oh, they're just so good. We'll talk about the offense more when we get into the
the game itself. Yeah.
But it's time to call Coach.
Absolutely.
We'll see if he picks up.
We'll keep calling or keep talking, and let me get the number up here, and
we're excited to talk to him. I think we've seen some improvement.
Well, hopefully he picks up.
Yeah, exactly. Improvement in key areas week over week. We ought to ask him what kind of the focus was over the last 2 weeks since they had some extra time without a game. But yeah, let's see.
Two ringy dingies. Three ringy dingies. We may not have Coach today.
Hello.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, how are you?
James, how are you guys?
We're doing real good. We've decided to rename our show the James and Cody Show since only two of us bothered to show up.
Yeah, love it.
It kind of felt like the fan base last night. We were hoping that a lot of people wouldn't kind of blow it off thinking, oh, it's another blowout for Allen. But good turnout,
Y'all are the tried and true.
Well, yeah, we try and be there for everyone. So, congratulations on another good win, 62-14. Pretty dominating performance, obviously. I think you'd mentioned on the interview with Joe Trahan that we've got some stuff to improve on in all three phases of the game. I don't know if you want to kind of mention a little bit of that or give us a little summation for us.
Yeah. I mean, thank you for starters. But this was the just starting. I guess we talked defensively first. First team we played that was proficient in the passing game, and they had found some daylight here or there, and which is going to happen. Saying things to improve on, but that's going to happen. They kind of got us on a double move once, where we got bad eyes, but then showed phenomenal effort and catch up, and saved a touchdown tackle that turned into a fourth down field goal attempt, and we blocked the field goal. So great recovery on that. And the special teams, I thought we did a really good job on special teams, and then had gave up the one explosive kick return. So got to continue to improve there. We're doing a lot of different things, but still, just got to find a way to keep that hemmed in. And then offensively, did some things really, really good as well, but had a breakdown in protection or a read, and not, again, all of these are minor, and but for what our kids are working and what we're trying to accomplish, things that definitely there's meat on the bone.
For sure. What we learned on that kick return, Coach, is the kicker might be one of the best tacklers on the team.
Yeah, that was a very, very good tackle. I'm proud of him, excited for him. He's he probably didn't know he was quite that good of a tackler himself, but good to know.
Well, if we're ever short at linebacker, I think we know who we got to turn to at that point.
Yeah.
Well, and so let's turn a little bit to the to the O-line. We've got all underclassmen there, and they seem to have done a really, really good job of pass blocking. We had this term when Kyler was a quarterback that he had time for a cigar and a bourbon back there, with the O-line, and it seemed like our passers had some pretty good protection, but then we had a little trouble up front, early on with some of the interior runs, and any feedback on that. And I guess you guys got it spread out, and it started working pretty good. But the guys up front, they continue to battle, continue to improve each week, and again, like you said, for the most part, they're young. There's one of them, Henry Hastings is a senior that got in there and did some good things last night as well. But
protection for the most part was really good. We had some guys kind of slip by us there as well, but not a lot. And then run blocking, we did a good job, creating creases. They were tight creases, but again, they are getting better, continue to improve a little bit each week. So really proud of that. The backs, I think, did a much better job of staying, behind their blocks and not bouncing out necessarily. So again, there weren't gaping holes, but you don't expect there to be gaping holes in 6A football. So yeah. I was proud ultimately of the way they played up front.
Yeah, and it to mention or kind of go on to what you had mentioned about the holes. It seemed like they got better at their timing. The running backs and when to hit the hole gives the offensive line a chance to develop that blocking scheme and to get the hole open or the crease open. So mean, that's some positive feedback from our perspective. We see it, and if we can see it, then it must be obvious.
That's right. Yeah, and right.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to mention, there was one play. It looked like Preston Wright got rolled up on pretty good, and I saw him, still playing toward the end of the game. So I was glad to see him kind of recover on that one. It was a little bit scary from our perspective at first, but
yeah, it was.
Kids are fighting hard.
That was one of those that looked nasty, and he kind of gave with it as it was going down, and again was kind of able to shake it off. He'll have a really sore knee, ankle, but it was good to see him get back in there.
Well, we need Doc to earn his keep somehow. So ice bath and PT. So let's go on that. I guess one of the other things we wanted to talk about, was penalties. We had 8 for 75, which is not huge yardage, but I know that's got to kind of stick in the back of your mind there. Wanting to reduce that. There's the obvious, flow of the game where you're going to get a hand inside the collar and all that stuff. But some of the controllable penalties, how do you try and focus on that to get teenagers to do what they're supposed to and not do what they're not supposed to?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a huge point of emphasis. It's just something that has been frustrating. Those are, to me, those penalties are like turnovers. They're gonna lose ball games for you. There's things that we just got to clean up. Just got to be more disciplined. Kids are playing incredibly hard, playing incredibly passionate, but you also got to be able to be more disciplined while you're doing that. Those not happy at all about where we are in the penalty category, but again, we'll get it cleaned up.
Oh yeah, and we're not trying to point fingers at anybody. It's just one of the things is how much of that becomes a team enforced thing. Where the teammates don't put up with it as much as the coaches don't put up with it.
That's right. Yeah, no doubt. It will be a continued point of emphasis, and they will. They know it. I mean, again, it's just they're living on that edge of playing hard, and had a couple are really really bad penalties, but then some that just got to know when to let up. But anyway, it's frustrating.
Yeah, and we don't want to focus on that, but they'll improve it. Yeah, we've got a lot of faith in you guys and in the leadership of the team. We've just seen so much maturity, from year to year. It's got to be pretty satisfying for you to kind of see things start to click a little bit more in your system.
Well, yeah, I don't know that. I'm just really, really proud of the way the kids work each day, and the coaches too. I mean, they do such an incredible job of preparing for teams, but also just relationally. My coaches genuinely love the kids, and they feed off of each other and continue. I think the coaches and their preparation and those things continue to get better each week, and the kids in turn. So it's just really fun to see the whole thing mesh the way it is. Just hope we continue to improve each week.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, you ready to do college games?
Yes, ready.
All right. Well, last week you went 4-1. Texas got you like they got everyone last week, so I think disappointment all around on that front. But new week, new games. So first up, SEC matchup, we've got Alabama, Missouri.
I will take Alabama.
I think that is a
quick and good choice, we think.
All right. Yeah. Next up, this one might be a little more tricky. Indiana, Oregon.
Yeah. That Indiana team is a sneaky team. I am going to take Oregon, though, I believe.
All right. That's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out this week. Another sneaky team up here next. We got Ohio State and Illinois.
Yes. I will go with Ohio State.
That one's probably safer than your previous one.
Can't bet against the Buckeyes this year, yeah.
All right. We got our victors against Texas last week. We got Florida against another Texas team, Texas A&M.
Yeah, it's hard those teams that are kind of fighting for their lives, like Florida. It's just kind of an unknown, but you got to think that A&M's going to find a way to kind of keep the roll going, and I'll go with A&M.
All right, sounds good. And here's the one that's going to get you in hot water this week: Texas OU.
Yeah, man, it should be one of the better games that they've had in the last few years. I think there's still a lot of unknowns on that OU team, and certainly with the quarterback going to try to play after a surgery, and what's that going to be like? How much reps has he gotten? Throwing has he gotten? The unknown with when's Texas offense going to break out? I think that both of them are going to be really, really, really good defensive teams, and Texas probably better in that category. But I've got to right now lean towards OU because I think that if the quarterback plays well, they're probably a little better offensively at this point.
Yep. Oh, no, you didn't.
I was going to say, I hate myself for it, but I agree with you, Coach.
Yeah.
So. Should be a good one, though. Well,
it should be.
All right. Plano West next week?
Plano West. Yes, sir.
Anything we should know about?
Haven't spent time looking at it, but
okay.
But kind of like Princeton. They weren't on the record wise weren't very successful last year, and they've really done a good job this year. I'm proud of that staff and team, but again, haven't got to look at them and see how they're doing it. But just excited for another matchup and another week of our guys getting to play together and improve and hopefully put another win on the field.
Awesome. Yeah, and one last thing before we let you go, Coach. Coaching in Texas is much smaller fraternity, if you will,
yes.
Than maybe people realize. And you being the Texas High School Coaches Association president in the past, you've probably gotten to know a lot more coaches, with that role. Kind of explain the connections. We've got Marcus Flowers, former Allen player, who's a quarterback for Princeton. Any other connections or whatever? I saw the one guy with the boot on the sidelines. Everybody was dabbing up.
No connections. Just respect. I just respect the way they play. That receiver. I hope he's not injured seriously. He's an incredible football player. He makes plays at a high level, but also I just like the way he carries himself. It's not about him. He's really, really good at his craft, but he finishes play, gets back to business, does it again and again and again and again and again. And just our entire team has a lot of respect for who he is, how he plays, and just care about him, about his injury.
Nice. Well, Coach, we really appreciate your time and thanks for sticking with us.
Appreciate you guys and have a great day. Enjoy the games today.
Definitely. So, are you watching the Tech game today?
Nope, I will be out there watching it live and in person.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, have fun, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye, Coach.
Bye. Goodbye.
There he is, the man himself.
Coach Wigg.
He picked up when we called. We weren't sure.
Now, we can't let that go to our heads. We don't have any more clout than normal.
Well, listen, percentage-wise, he's been on more episodes of the Cody and James show than he has of the BEBC podcast. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I like that. I like those stats. That's pretty amazing. So, you want to go through the game?
Yeah, let's do the game now.
Yeah. there's not a whole lot to say other than we scored a lot.
We scored a lot.
Special teams, defense.
Yeah. And Princeton
big plays. Exactly. Exactly. And so, when you start out, we end up starting the game, and Princeton does a 5-play drive, and they end up having a punt. They get it down to, 4th down and 11 at the Panther 24. They're still in their area. And
what happens? In their area, they've lost a yard.
And Kai Wheaton just does an absolute massive block punt. He's there in time, perfect hands, boom, blocks it. We get it short, and
who's hungry? Oh, geez.
Let's see, what do we end up with? We end up on the Panther 22. So they started out on 24.
Yep.
They get a -2 yard punt. But it was the beginning of the end for them. And then you go look at Allen's drive. We ended up having 4 plays, touchdown run. Dowd ended up having a scramble.
What an incredible scramble that was.
He's got more speed than you think he does.
And he's a little, not like Kyler loose. He's got a little looseness too, though. I thought he was going to get tackled about 5 yards in. He managed, I don't know if it was a safety away from or a linebacker, but he just kind of got away from him.
And it wasn't a big run, 10-yard run, but
But he lowered the shoulder when it came to the end zone and got it.
QBTD.
Yeah.
QBTD, baby. So way to go, Jeremiah. And
Editor Cody here. We didn't talk about it during the podcast, but immediately after this touchdown, Allen onside kicked the ball, and it looked like they recovered it, but it was called offsides during the game. Now, I just got the clip from James, and I want to give everybody the opportunity to take another look at this kickoff and decide for yourselves if you agree with that call.
And so then we end up kicking off, and after 7-0, first blood. They had an 8-play drive, and ends up in the screen right before the last play. There was a screen that got sniffed out. Major Miller. Now, we didn't mention him in any of the special teams or any of the defense, but he was a big force in there. He was slobber knocking and
it's hard this
hitting
week,
some
guys.
heads. I know. He ends up, there's a big pass play and they're trying to do, and he ends up knocking the ball out of the guy's hands, incomplete, and just shut the door on him. And then he gets a quarterback sack on 4th down, so we get a turnover on downs.
Yep.
And game on. Defense is on, offense is on. And so we end up running a few plays, and I think that's where they were trying to get those interior runs. They kind of got stuffed, and we ended up on a 4th down, and
not this one.
Ended up punting.
2 incomplete passes, and then a
and then a pass
screen. Yeah,
right.
This was maybe our one bad play of the night, where there was a drop.
Right.
That was maybe our one bad play.
When did we decide? Was that? Yeah, we don't want to call him out.
No,
anyway,
all good.
Yeah. So Nava punts 38 yards down to Panther 17. 7:38 left in the first quarter. We're turning it back over to them, and of course, their next series is a 7-play series. They get down, go to kick a field goal, and LeBron Bauer, the deacon ends up blocking it.
That kick.
And 4th and 10 and the Eagle 11. You think it's a chip, field goal. They can't miss it. And their field goal kicker, their kicker was not bad.
No, Sergio Ramirez.
I know. We got penetration, and poor Sergio had the point stolen from him.
Yep.
And, good job, LeBron. It was a pretty good play. So then we get the ball back, and we have a 5-play, 80-yard end up series. Gosh, touchback. So we get it out at, the 20, 25. Samaji ends up doing a little short run, and then incomplete pass, and then 10-yard run to the Eagle 32. So we get a first down with Dowd scrambling, and then touchdown pass. End up with an 88-yard pass to number 4, Carter Harris. Beautiful, placed in there, boom, outran the coverage, TD, and it was a thing of beauty. 5:23 left in the first quarter. We're rolling.
Absolutely.
So it's 14-0. End up kicking off to them. They have a 10-play drive. They actually had extended drives. 10-play drive, 15-play drive, 8-play drive. But like you said, when it doesn't end up in points,
yep,
that's the point.
That'll kill you every time. And we've been on the other end of some of those.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Those are miserable games to be at, but I think it's just a testament to the mentality of our defense that they can give up those first downs and then immediately recover and shut them down.
Yeah. And toward the end of that series, number 1, JT Shaw, they ended up with the one play where he ends up wrapping the guy up and ends up ripping the helmet off. It happens. That's one of those things. No harm, no foul, no penalty on that. And then there was that ended up being a 6-yard loss to the 49-yard line, and then they do a pass, and Japri Wafer ends up slamming the door on that screen. I think, what did they do? They ended up getting 3 yards out of it. But still not a first down. And then, Trey Robertson, 0, does a big pass breakup on the next play, and they have to punt. So it's 4th and 13 at the Eagle 46.
Well, and they're scared of punting at this point, so they're doing this kind of trickery. Oh, we're gonna go for it, then we're gonna pull everybody in and kind of
the little pooch punt, right?
Exactly.
Which, if you can get it off quick, that's that's a way to get around having your punt blocked.
I think that's another factor in the game all night is they weren't winning on special teams because they weren't able to get their punter out and punt, so they're losing 10, 20, 30 yards every time.
And when we're in the backfield, it doesn't matter, whether it's Robertson or Japri or JT. Just somebody is getting penetration, which is amazing. So we end up getting the ball and 6 plays, 90-yard drive. Ends up a couple passes, couple runs, some nice yardage. Beautiful pass from Dowd to number 4 Carter. A little post route, which we've been calling to see a little bit more of, instead of doing the little curls or the swing passes or the bubble screens. Get it downfield a little more, and it's money. For Carter, and I know the coaches see that, but if you don't try everything, if you don't push the limits on your offense, you're not going to find out about that. And then, Lyndon Spriggs has a nice 23-yard run down to the Panther 20, and then touchdown pass, from Dowd to Carter again, 20-yard pass, TD. Yep. It was a thing of beauty. End of the quarter. So at that point, we're 21-0. And is that the end of the first quarter? Holy guacamole. Yeah. Okay. So it's on, 3 scores in the first quarter.
Yep.
They end up getting the ball, a 7-play drive. Ends up with having to run into a kicker penalty. Luckily, we don't end up, that gives them 5 yards. So instead of roughing the kicker, it was just a 5-yard minor penalty of running into the kicker.
I think on that play, everybody in the stands thought they had another block. Like they were there, just didn't happen.
And I looked at the film, and he definitely was there, but it just either went inside the arm, outside the arm. And that's where I struggle. If you've got a beat on the quarterback, just go full speed. Don't, pull up and try and block a pass if he's going to throw it. Just full speed. And same thing with kicking. I don't know what they're taught. Maybe we'll get a little lesson from the coaches. Do they teach them to go high to be able to get the angle on the ball, kind of like blocking in basketball? Or do you go down? Because if you've got the speed and position to go down more targeted to the ball closer to the foot, maybe that's more productive.
Well, and the coaches probably aren't coaching for the situation where there's 3 of them back there, all who have a shot at it.
They're fighting, no me.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah, so 5 yards, they still had to kick it.
Yep.
Turn it back over to us. We ended up getting it on the 46-yard line. We had a 5-play drive. Complete. Ty Snell was quarterback on this series. Had a beautiful pass to Caleb. Ends up getting it down to the 48 or out to the 48. Throws an incomplete pass, and then Hambrick, which our new nickname for Hambrick is Smashburger, because his offhand is active.
Yes,
and he's smashing people into the ground. Which,
absolutely,
if you look at instincts, beautiful running instincts. Barry Sanders. I mean, who else? Emmitt Smith had a nice stiff arm smash. He's got the skills on that, so it's kind of nice, watching him do that. And
he'll lower the shoulder too, but man, he's got a beautiful stiff arm.
Exactly. And unfortunately, we end up running it, or actually Ty passes to Josiah Johnson, gets 6 yards, but we needed 7, so we turn over on downs for the 4th down.
I think it was a great play call. They brought out the deacon.
Yep.
2 other guys. They line up 3 on one side. They run them all deep, and it runs everybody off that side of the field. And Josiah's on this little underneath crossing route, and just maybe the ball's a little late. Maybe this route's a little shallow. Something didn't quite line up there. I think it was a really good play call that probably should have worked and just didn't quite get executed quite right.
It got them down to the Panther 43, so at least we got it over the 50-yard line. And if you're going to go for it, I'm sure the coaches weren't worried about the score and oh my gosh, is this going to ruin the game for us? So certainly makes sense. And basically we end up turning it over to him. Devin Palmer, I got to give props to him too. Number 99, he was on fire the whole game. Same thing with Major Miller. These are guys that we didn't mention for players of the game, but any other game, any tough team that we're playing prosper, their performance is going to be a standout. And when you got so many, we're so spoiled. We're homers and we're spoiled. And this is the Allen podcast, so what do you expect?
Exactly.
But he ended up grabbing the running back by the shirt tail. And Dakota Lee ends up holding him, and then about 4 or 5 other Allen players, end up piling on. And
Yep.
Loss of 1, so down to the Panther 42, and they end up having an incomplete pass, and then they end up having to punt, and basically 27 yards down to our 30-yard line. 7:50 left in the quarter at that point, second quarter. We're coming up towards halftime. Allen gets the ball, 7 plays, end up doing a couple good passes. Ty was on that series also, had another completion to Carter, 14 yards, ended up getting the first down to the Panther 49. A couple runs, 4 yards, 7 yards, and then a pass. Another Snell to Carter pass for 9 yards down to the Panther 29. And then what does he do? He ends up throwing a pass to Caleb Smith, Jet Smith, 29-yard pass, touchdown. It was a thing of beauty. Curves right into the end zone.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
I don't know what you say about that. Caleb was on fire. All of his scoring, as we talked about offline, it was 3 pass plays and 3 TDs.
Yeah.
And then running basically had a next to nothing run. I think he had 1 run for 3 yards.
Yeah.
And still got 3 TDs. So, if you're on special teams, don't complain. Just get some TDs. That's all you got to do is have Caleb speed and you're set. So then we end up getting the ball over to Princeton. They have a 7-play drive at that point. We had personal foul penalty on that one. That's part of what hurts, but we ended up overcoming that. And incomplete pass, had a run 6 yards down to the Panther 45, or out to the Panther 45, and then 4th down and 4 at the 45. And they said, you know what, we're not gonna mess with that. So they punt the ball back to us. And what do we end up doing? Well, we end up having a 6-play drive, 81 yards. Punt return, let's start out with that. LeBron catches the punt and laterals it to 0, 71 yards. Trey Roberson.
Oh, my gosh.
Man, he was out of gas.
He was.
And the people were, the defenders were catching up to him. I think he got down to, what was it, the 10-yard line?
10-yard line.
Oh, my gosh. And it's like sputtering and coughing, and he goes down.
They're going to fake. Oh, that was pretty sloppy.
I wanted him to get that touchdown so bad.
Next week we got to ask Coach if they're teaching them to lateral or if that's something they're doing of their own. Because I got a feeling they're not telling them to do that.
Well, see, my philosophy is that's kind of in the ball game of, okay, when you're that good, like Kyler was that good.
Yeah.
Kyler could get away with, okay, we're going to do a go route. Hey,
yeah.
Jalen Guyton, we're going to do a go route here, doing it in the dirt, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure he winged that. It's like, okay, I'm going backwards. Oh, Robertson's right next to me. Poop.
Yeah. And he was getting slung around, too.
It was beautiful. Yeah. He got whipped around 360.
We got the highlight on that, right?
Yeah. Right, we definitely got the highlight on that. And then, we get a penalty, unfortunately. And that's the thing where you have such great stuff happen. We're all in control of how other people make us feel and react. Mm-hmm. And when we react in a way that's negative to us, then we're basically giving them control. And that's the area, Coach is talking about trying to improve. And there's only so much emphasizing you can do. Yep. I mean, because these are still teenagers. Yep. They're passionate. It's in the heat of the game. That's not an excuse because, we wouldn't put up with that with our kids, and you just hope for better.
Yep.
Because if they're going to go on to college and, college coaches are seeing that, it's like, kid's got so much talent, but, we need to see the other side of the coin. But so basically we drive it down. Last run is to the Panther 17, Jaden Hamrick, smash burger. And then touchdown pass, Ty Snell passing to Caleb, 15 yards. That was where he was diving, right? And had 2 guys around him, basically goes underneath coverage. Yeah. And whether Ty meant to do it like that, he got it to him.
It worked out.
Caleb snagged it.
That's one of those where you're watching it and you're like, did he come down with that? That didn't look like a very catchable situation.
He did. And WFAA's viewing and coverage showed that.
Awesome.
And some of the highlights they did. And so end of the quarter, and now it's Allen 35 and Princeton 0. Halftime.
Not halftime just yet.
No,
end of the quarter is at the end of this. So we got
end of this. So they did an 11-play drive. Yeah, I'm out of practice.
Talking about
on this.
the start of this though, first pass complete for minus 2 yards. Then he gets sacked. They call a timeout. They do convert. They do drive a little bit, but then run out of time. Yeah,
and so Devin Butler 99 is the one on the pass play, slams the runner, and then number 1 JT Shaw, QB sack, just monsters.
Yep.
I love watching that defense. It's so amazing. Incomplete pass, let's see, down to 36. Another pass, Marcus Flowers passes Jordan Mosley 10 yards down to the Panther 46. Incomplete pass. That's where number 12, Tim Drake, number 1, JT Shaw, major pressure on Marcus Flowers. And pass incomplete, run it into the quarter, halftime, boom.
Halftime. Yeah.
The band.
35-0.
Yep. Good halftime show. I don't know. Have they done competition yet?
No.
So we've got the Plano East marching band or marching competition, I think, coming up. What else? We got Rose Bowl around the New Year's, but that's later. So what do? We end up getting the kickoff after halftime.
What do? We score, James.
Oh, my God.
That's what we do.
Oh, my God. And so, we get the kickoff return, 16 yards, and then Jeremiah Dowd, number 5, ends up throwing a complete pass, 60 yards. Caleb Smith, probably a 20-yard pass.
Yeah.
The rest of the 60 yards is 40 yards of run, and
Yep.
Jet just up the sideline, boom.
Gone.
Score. He's got that breakaway speed, and we love to see it.
As we were talking about breakfast this morning, he gets to his top speed so quickly.
He does.
That if you're not taking a great angle, you're not going to catch him.
Exactly. And they had trouble taking the right angle.
Yeah. Well, speed kills at wide receiver.
Oh, it does.
And at high school, the disparities are even bigger than they are at other levels. So, speed kills in the NFL. Speed is just devastating.
And I suppose the test is going to be against a North Crowley, a Prosper, a Duncanville, assuming Duncanville beats DeSoto once they get into the playoffs. But yards after catch, it's a big thing, and Caleb is super good at that yards after catch.
Yes, sir.
So first down, touchdown, boom, 42-7.
42-0.
42-0, 42-7 after this Nick series. So 5:22 left in the third quarter, 15-play drive.
And at this point, the D-line starters are still in large, but the linebackers and the secondary have all
That's
pretty
right.
much been subbed out.
That's
Not
right.
even necessarily your second string.
Exactly.
On those
there's a rotation, and so maybe you'll have a second string, third string with the first string defensive line.
Yep.
Masterful coaching as far as how to rotate them in and how to find the best combinations, right?
It is a 15-play, 80-yard drive, but like when you're looking at the majority of these plays, -1 yard, 7 yards, 4 yards, 7 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, incomplete pass, 6 yards, 13 yards. That's their first big one, and then we get a penalty. 15 yards. So that's bigger than any of their offensive plays.
And the one play that I was thinking about is like 6 or 7 plays into this drive, and number 9 does a really good pass defense. And it's instincts. It seems like it's instincts. Either that or they're teaching them young, and we like it. If they're teaching them young, keep doing it.
So they do end up getting a touchdown on that drive. But again, the big thing there was the penalty. Without that may not happen. But even then, they were nickel and diming down the field against second and third string linebackers and secondary. So
and so they get a TD, and what do?
We score.
We score on the ensuing kickoff return, and
who else?
Yeah, Caleb Jet Smith, 77 yards, touchdown. Did a little flying in the end zone, the old a lot of people in the past have done that, where you go along and you're flying in the end zone. Eagles soar, baby. You can't stop them.
Nope.
And so, one play, boom. And then what happens?
We score.
Yeah. We kick off to them. They take the ball and interception. So who was it that intercepted? Number 29.
Josiah.
Oh, my gosh. Josiah Gibson, 32-yard interception, touchdown run. It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
It just was. And it caught me a little bit off guard, so I'm like moving the camera real fast, but we got it.
And it's one of those where all night he'd been under pressure and been kind of floating balls.
Mm-hmm.
I think his mechanics started to break down. He was sailing balls, he was floating balls. And I was a little surprised myself that it took so long to get our first pick because...
I know, but he jumped the route. And when you float the ball, he jumps the route, boom.
That was the first time it happened. So I was really happy to see it happen. I wish it happened a little sooner, but great play. And taking it back is just the cherry on the ice cream on the cake.
That's right. And, and all of a sudden you turn around, okay, well, it's 49-7. Oh, now it's 56-7.
Yeah.
It adds up so quick. And
you scored in all three phases again.
Yeah, we're spoiled. And so we kick off, and Princeton gets it, 5-play, 29-yard drive. They get another touchdown.
And the big thing on that was they took the kickoff back 66 yards. This was the one you heard talking about with Coach, gave up that big one, but the kicker came in and just laid the lumber on that dude.
Oh, my God.
Took a great angle, didn't get faked out.
Stopped the touchdown at that point. Slowed him down a little bit, made him think about it. Yeah, they felt that one.
Yep.
Let's see, 6-yard rush, Gabe Patton, touchdown. What can you say? We're here for Allen, not Princeton. And so we end up getting the ball. They kick off 9-play, 59-yard drive. Anything special there? Let's see. Oh, we had the Jaden Hamrick, another rush, 6-yard rush. And that was the one that the press got rolled up on. Normally we don't talk about injuries, but since he came back in the game, it's like, okay, he's going to be really sore. He's going to be seeing Doc and getting some PT, etc. But Hamrick is just a monster. Snell is running the offense still in this series, and a couple good passes. Nice 12-yard to Josiah, 3-yard run. Ends up getting a touchdown. What Hambrick does, a 2-yard run, kind of just a little punch in. He almost got there on the previous play.
And he's in there.
It's a good run for
but
about
they
9
locked
yards
him
out.
up, and all of a sudden it was the tush push, and we didn't have quite enough push in our tush.
We've had really good reffing this year, all in all, especially compared to last year. This is the first game where I felt anything at all was a little iffy.
Okay.
And it was just, they were very inconsistent. And I think both ways. They were inconsistent both ways in when they blew a play dead when there was a push going on. Because there was one play, I don't remember which one, where they gave them like 6-7 extra seconds after the pile had stopped moving, and they scraped up a lot of extra yards after that. I think if they'd given the same one to Jaden on this last run, he might get into the end zone. I think they called that one a little soon relative, but that was a little uneven. But hey, if that's the worst thing we're complaining about with reffing is that little bit of inconsistency,
we have no problem with that. And they were.
I have a problem with it, but I prefer it to the alternative.
We're perfectionists, and we like seeing that. Now I don't know whether they had some extra guys out on the crew, but they did have a 7-man crew working the game, which you love to see. In the past, Coach Westerberg had. I remember the one Trinity game where we were playing against them, and he said, "Yeah, we want a full crew, 7-man crew," and thinking we were going to get a lot of penalties, and for some reason, Trinity ended up having like maybe 2 penalties the whole game. And but it's good to have them all out there. They just need to learn to call the game better.
Yep. Good game overall, guys. But hey, just kind of work on your consistency and blowing plays dead. That's my one ask.
Exactly. And so, we get towards the end of the game, and they have another drive. It's a 7-play drive, ends up in a punt. Nothing of consequence happening there.
And again, this is against we're deep into the backups.
Very deep at this point.
D-line.
Very deep at this point. We got, fourth quarter, 11 minutes left. They end up punting to us. We take it 11 plays, 31 yards. We end up with the opportunity for a field goal, and it ends up getting blocked. So,
was it blocked?
Yeah, well, missed field goal.
Yeah.
Shanked it off to the left.
Yep.
Outside.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. You can't be perfect. I'm curious how much they do prep on the balls that we use for kicking, like the NFL does on the K balls. Mm-hmm. But we end up missing the field goal. Princeton ends up taking over 9 plays. They go 39 yards, and essentially end the quarter, end the game.
Yep.
Game over.
Yep.
62-14. They did their scoring mainly, third quarter, and there was nothing else. So,
and I think if I were to choose one play that kind of summed up this game, it would be the play that Princeton called right before halftime.
Yeah,
where instead of trying to score, they just ran the ball, ran the remaining time off the clock, and it's like, okay, well, you're down, but you've shown some stuff so far. So, what's your attitude as a coaching staff? What's your attitude as a team? Are you going to try to I don't think you could have come back against this Allen team, but 35-point comebacks have happened, and especially in high school football.
Oh, yeah.
It's a thing. So I guess I was a little disappointed in the fight from the other side. I thought they might have a little bit more in them than I think they did.
Yeah. Well, and I can't say anything bad about them. They tried.
Yep.
And they're a growing team. For a team that was 5A previously to opt up to 6A, props to them.
Yep.
Is it going to be Melissa? Is it going to be Anna next year? There's a lot of changes happening. This area is growing so fast, and Princeton has grown really fast. I heard they basically loosened up the restrictions on the development again, so it's going to be exploding again.
Yep.
And
it'll be interesting to see where they're at.
It will.
In a few years.
It will. And I was looking at enrollment to kind of look at the playoff race, and Princeton is at 2379, which basically is almost the bottom. McKinney Boyd is smaller than they are. Prosper Rock Hill is smaller than they are. But everybody else in our district is bigger. And obviously with the Plano schools, they're in the 49 to 5,000 range, and we're 69-47. We're big. We're big.
And that was something we saw in the field last night. We were big, and just looking at that other team in warm-ups before the game, there was a little bit of a size disparity. And that's football in Texas. Sometimes that's going to exist, but
Well, and it brings up the discussion, which we're not going to get into on this podcast, but the discussion about when does 7A come in next realignment?
The problem's always going to be driving distance.
Yeah. It's going to be a huge, massive change. But with Anna and Melissa growing as fast as they are, maybe we get there and we have enough teams that are close that we can limit some of the driving.
This area would be okay, but you start getting out
West Texas,
Greater Houston area, that
Central, South Texas. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of driving.
And hey, this is the Cody and James podcast, so we can get into whatever we want.
Exactly. And if San Angelo, if El Paso, if all those schools, if they have to, they're used to driving a lot now as it is.
That's a fair point. Now, El Paso has a bajillion high schools, so they kind of all play each other. But
that's true. And East Texas, so we've got some districts that are encompassing Longview. Yeah. The Forney schools have got to drive out to Longview, and
like Rockwall and Tyler are in a district together.
Exactly.
There's some There's some drives out there.
There's some drives, but it'll be interesting to see how, it segregate, because normally they had, I think, about 200 teams per. That's kind of how they set the cutoffs, right? Is we need to have about this many teams in 6A, this many teams in 5A, and then they'll do Division I, Division II based on whatever the enrollment is.
Right. But
they try and have the spread out. So now are we going to end up with 125, 150 teams in 7A?
Yeah.
It's going to get, what do we say, big words, very bifurcated. We're going to have a very chopped up.
Well, and I at the end of the day, how much of, because you're basically just dropping the smallest 50 schools out of 6A to make, so you're not even really fixing a problem.
No,
at that point in terms of disparity in school sizes.
Well, and so does Jesuit definitely goes down to 5A.
Yeah.
But what they had sued to get in, and they said, okay, well, you always have to play in the highest classification. So Jesuit can't go 5A,
right? Because
they have to play in the highest classification. But a Southlake, they might go 5A. A lot of these smaller schools, 2,300, 2,400. I don't remember exactly what the cutoff is now. That might forestall
like an Anna Melissa from being in the largest classification.
Could be, but with
they're growing. I mean, I'm saying not forever, but for a realignment or two, that might.
Well, that'd be interesting. As we get closer to the playoffs, maybe we need to look at that a little bit more and say, hey, October 31st is census day, so all the schools take the census of their attendance, 9th grade through 12th grade, October 31st, and then we find out. A few days or weeks later. Dave Campbell's Texas Football is always really good about publishing those lists. So, subscribe and look out for that. That's a good reason to keep involved. They've got lots of good coverage. Professor Diggs was outstanding in his soliloquy online, before you were reading it to me. And
he's always great.
He's spot on.
He
knows
clearly watches just so much Texas high school football.
Oh my God.
You compare that to some other local coverage, and it's clear they don't.
Yeah.
So
bigger outlets.
Bigger outlets. Publish something every morning.
It's a tough business to be in, And,
I don't think it's as hard as some of them make it, but that's just me.
Oh my gosh! If you were ever to get in that, it would be exciting. Let me tell you, it definitely would be exciting. Yeah. So I was looking at our district race, and right now, obviously, Allen and Prosper are 4-0. That's setting up a district, championship. Once we meet them in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So, and we're going to Prosper for that game.
Yep.
Now, I have it on good authority that the Prosper is not going to tolerate us charging the field. So, but hopefully the student section shows up. We really need the student section for that game. What do we play? Boyd next, and then
I think
Prosper?
We got Plano West.
Oh, Plano West. Okay, that'll be a good challenge too. Maybe they'll give us a little bit more of a challenge, because they seem to be the best of all the Plano schools. So, we'll find out about that. And obviously for the playoffs, 5-6A and 6-6A would be going against each other in the first round.
Yep.
Right now, it's Louisville and Denton Guyer who are tied 3-0 in district play. Louisville obviously has, well, not obviously, but they've got a better record. They're 6-0 undefeated, whereas Guyer is 4-2, and they've lost 2 non-district games. And then you've got Coppell, which...
I just got to say, I hope Guyer wins, because I'm just tired of facing Louisville in the first round. I want to see some new teams.
Well, maybe Louisville's got a basketball player for a quarterback, and we can, we can have a little fun with the QB sacks like we did 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. That was a lot of fun. They needed to start practicing basketball more. So basketball's right on the heels of football, and a lot of times, you'll end up having basketball players that are playing football. And if they're still in the playoffs, they have to delay starting basketball.
Yep.
But Coppell's third in district race right now. The rest are really bad at 1-2. Coppell is 2-1. As I mentioned, Guyer and Louisville is 3-0. So we'll see what happens. We'll monitor it here in the next couple of weeks, and really, it's not so much what we're facing up until Prosper, but we'll see how they fare. And Louisville should win out, but. I don't even know what games they have coming up. What else? Scores? Did we get through that? Yeah. Prosper
maybe.
Rock Hill. They ended up beating McKinney-Boyd, which is not really surprising. Allen 62-14 over Princeton. Plano and Prosper. Plano actually did a little better than I thought they would, but their scoring was kind of late in the ball game. They had 3 points, 3 points in the second quarter, 3 points in the third quarter, and then 8 in the fourth quarter. That's considered trash time. So I really don't. I don't give them much credit for the 14 points, for at least the last 8. What was the final on that one? 45-14. So Prosper did not blow them out as much as maybe we would think. But if Plano's giving them a game, well, they got to leave their starters in longer, and you know, maybe maybe our defense has a chance.
I just want to
go easy.
Say the quote about Plano, which is one of the better defenses in the area, apparently. So,
according to who?
The Dallas Morning News.
Oh,
when they played us, it was like, 2 of the better defenses in the area.
Okay,
we've now given up 56 and 45, and 2 of the last 3 weeks.
And against my predictions, the next game in district was McKinney versus Plano West. McKinney ends up pulling out a really tight game. They ended up scoring, it was 28-24. They beat them. They scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And Plano West was held to 3 points. And so Plano West.
That's a collapse.
They collapsed. They couldn't hold them.
Yep.
So
the Plano West miracle story is over. Funny thing is, the result of that game, according to Professor Diggs, keeps East in the playoff race. So
I like the possibilities there.
Yeah,
I really do like the possibilities there, because when I look at that, what do we have? Plano West is 3-2. Plano is 2-3. Prosper Rock Hill is 2-3. McKinney is 1-3. Plano East is 1-3. They got to win out.
Yep, they have to win out.
So
but they're still technically not eliminated.
You're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance.
Yeah. So, good on McKinney. To pull it out and beat Plano West, that was a big win. Mm-hmm. In some playoff, potential impacting, Denton Geyer played Hebron. They won 44-16. That scoring for Hebron was in the first 2 quarters, and then they got shut out in the last half. So I guess that says more about Denton Geyer's defense, that they kind of buckled up. And then the other one is Louisville. They didn't beat Flower Mound by as much as they have beat some of the other teams in district. They ended up beating Flower Mound 49-7. And Flower Mound's first score and only score was in the first quarter. And Louisville put up 35 in the second quarter. So I'm sure that they were subbing and kind of cruised 7 in the last quarter to get to 49. DeSoto Duncanville, that was the big game of the night.
Yep.
Duncanville ends up kind of outlasting DeSoto, wins 48-28, 14 points in the first and second quarter and third quarter, and then 6 points in the fourth quarter. And basically, DeSoto had 8 points in the fourth quarter, and 14 points in the second quarter. So they 6 points in the first. Had a scoreless third quarter. I just think Duncanville's defense is that good, to kind of shut them down. I'm sure Claude was, frustrated, but
they're 3-3 on the year.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
DeSoto's 3-3. They lost both their out of district games, and now they've lost to Duncanville. Yep. So
it's going to be interesting. North Crowley, they played Mansfield Lake Ridge, which was a blowout, 62-17. 10 points for Lake Ridge in the first quarter, and then 7 in trash time. And then Wiley Rowlett, that's a game of interest. Rowlett ekes out a win, 17-14. That was a barn burner. Rockwall Heath, now this is surprising.
All right.
Rockwall Heath, North Forney. I think it's 10-6A. 56-55 in overtime.
Woo!
Yeah. So North Forney ends up missing the extra pointer. It gets blocked. I don't remember which. Channel 8 was covering that, and it was like a last-minute, thing. But Rockwall Heath scores in overtime, ends up converting the extra point. They beat them by 1 point. So congratulations, Rockwall Heath. That district is interesting. You now have the advantage over North Forney. And then Forney, our buddies over at Forney, they eked out a win against Longview. Congratulations. That was a good win, 28-24. Scored in the first and the third quarter and held out. So good on you. Way to go, Jeff Fleener. Anything else? What else we need to cover?
I mean, just really, really good game last night. Should be a good game next week, and then Prosper in 2 weeks should be a lot of fun. And guys, this is a fun Allen team. If you're on the fence about going to a game, go.
Watching it in person is so much better than watching it on TV. And it's not like it's snowing or it's raining or the weather's bad. It's been perfect.
I feel like this is a once in a lifetime, not a once in a lifetime, but this is a generational
This is a
team.
special
team. And we're seeing crazy, 2 games in a row, we've got crazy laterals going for.
Oh my gosh! And this one, I didn't get caught off guard. I was like,
you're ready for
I'm not turning the camera off for anything. I think the play's over. No, we're going to see where it ends up. But enjoy that highlight.
Yep.
We'll try and get those out as quick as possible. Cody is technically very savvy, so I'm sure you'll get out the podcast audio portion of it real quick, and I'll get the highlights over to you today. We'll do some online cloud storage stuff, but I stayed up quite a bit last night working on the highlights because I couldn't put it down. It's like that book that you got to finish. You can't put it down. It's like, oh my God, where's the next big play?
Everybody was contributing last night.
Yeah. So congratulations, Allen. Congratulations, players. So JD and Ty for offense players of the game. Josiah Gibson, number 29, and number 1 JT Shaw for defense. Special teams, Caleb Jet Smith. Congrats, guys. We'll have your magnets over to the facility sometime this week. And any parting words?
If you like this, if you want to see more of just the two of us, like and subscribe. We'll take that as a signal.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, press the little bell.
Exactly. Get rid of everybody else. So next week should be the full crew back. And until then, we'll see you later.
We're out of here. Bye.
Nice. Wow.